A lot of people in the MAGA community are feeling like there's a bait and switch going on. Like Trump said a whole lot of things to get elected, and once he got elected, things are changing. Let's just say they're gonna do one thing, and then end up the whole time they intended on not even doing that, but they sold it to you that they were gonna do that. They use people who, let's just say, would have credibility in that area, so that when they come out and say, "Hey, no, there's nothing there. You could trust me. You remember what I said about it? You could trust me." And that was Dan Bongino and Cash Patel. But it's one of those things that when you're on the outside and you don't know what's going on the inside, you can say a lot. But once you become a company man, as they call it, and they show you certain things, they're like, "Hey, look, this is what it is. You can't say nothing about it. You can't do nothing about it. You're under contract." Okay. It's like, what can they do? And it's crazy because some people have a moral compass. You know, a lot of people will say, "Look, this is what I said I'm going to do. This is who I am. There is life after politics, and I can't lose my credibility." And I think that's what Bongino is struggling with right now. It's like once he goes back to civilian life, people are going to be like, "Hey, all that stuff that you said you were going to do, you guys got in there and did nothing." So he's struggling with that. And I think that's why he's threatening to resign. A lot of people feel like this Pam Bondi is either helping to continue the cover up, or somehow just botch this whole investigation. Either she said too much by saying she was going to release the files. I don't know what's going on. Okay, it's just an interesting story. Listen to what Tucker Carlson has to say about who Epstein really was.
The real answer is Jeffrey Epstein was working on behalf of Intel Services, probably not American. And we have every right to ask, on whose behalf was he working? How does a guy go from being a math teacher at the Dalton School in the late 70s with no college degree to having multiple airplanes, a private island, and the largest residential house in Manhattan? Where did all the money come from? And no one has ever gotten to the bottom of that because no one has ever tried. And moreover, it's extremely obvious to anyone who watches that this guy had direct connections to a foreign government. Now, no one's allowed to say that that foreign government is Israel because we have been somehow cowed into thinking that that's naughty. There is nothing wrong with saying that.
Personally, it doesn't matter to me if he committed suicide or somebody had him knocked off. Why the client list was there and it's not there all of a sudden, those are some interesting things. But I want to thank y'all very much for tuning in. All right, and remember, guys, we're trying to get to at least 500 subscribers on both TikTok and YouTube. So I appreciate you. If you're not following me, go ahead and follow and subscribe. All right, stay blessed, y'all.